Doctor Strange 2 star confirms reshoots are completed with behind-the-scenes video. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has finished its reshoots, according to one of its stars. The supernatural sequel was reported last year to be undergoing reshoots until January, and now star Xochitl Gomez has celebrated the end of filming. The actress shared a video on TikTok of her doing a dance on a soundstage, with a green screen behind her. "All done," she captioned. Gomez is playing the superhero American Chavez, an individual with Superman-like powers, flight, super strength, invulnerability, as well as time travel and interdimensional travel. We don't know how many will translate into the film. Also, as a Latin American lesbian character, she's pretty groundbreaking. Following the events of Spider-Man: No Way Home, which were shown in the trailers and not considered a spoiler, the multiverse is in a bit of a mess, and it's up to Doctor Strange to face up to what he's done and clean up his mess. The film's trailer showed that Baron Mordo is back and out to get the Doctor, while there's also an evil version of Strange and Marvel vs. Capcom favorite Shumagorath causing trouble. Thankfully, Strange has got an ally in the form of Wanda Maximoff, who has taken on the mantle of the Scarlet Witch following the traumatic events of WandaVision. The reshoots were apparently meant to add more cameos to the film, following the hype-inducing moments from No Way Home. Although Sebastian Stan has ruled himself out, it looks like anyone could be making an appearance. Severance trailer unveils an unsettling workplace thriller starring Adam Scott. Well, this isn't Office Space. The trailer for a new thriller series from Apple TV+, Severance, was released earlier today. The show stars Adam Scott as Mark, a team leader at the nefarious Lumen Industries, who elects to undertake severance, an invasive surgical procedure in which the recipient's memories are separated between work and play. "I have of my own free accord elected to undergo the procedure," Mark says in the trailer. "I give consent to sever my memories between my work life and my personal life." Yeah, anything that requires you to rattle off a creepy consent form on camera is probably something to avoid. The series seems like it has everything one might expect from a series centering an enigmatic corporation, worker coercion, and weird brain chips. It's the first project that multi-hyphenate comedy star Ben Stiller has directed since helming the Showtime limited series Escape at Dannemora, about the 2015 Clinton Correctional Facility escape, back in 2018. And while it doesn't seem quite the unashamed anti-capitalist slam dunk as Sorry to Bother You, the trailer serves some snippets of humor undergirding the unease. "It's important your eyes be kind," instructs Tillman's unsettling boss. "Do you know how to make your eyes kind?" "We don't know, does anybody?" Scott is best known for his tenure on Parks and Recreation, in which he starred as Ben Wyatt. In May 2021, he revealed on The Ellen Show that he had been staying in old co-stars Aziz Ansari's apartment during the shooting of an undisclosed show. One might fairly presume that the project was Severance. He also spoke about how he first met Parks co-star Rob Lowe, guest host on Ellen for Scott's episode, "Correct me if I'm wrong, am I correct that you and I met literally 30 seconds before they called action on her first scene in the show," which Lowe corroborates. "They brought you and I in, and we had to meet that entire cast, which is like Murderer's Row of comedians, and we hadn't even said hello to each other," Lowe confirms. Eternals post-credit scene sets up Secret Invasion crossover. Eternals didn't really make a whole lot of impact when it arrived in cinemas last November, but since its Disney Plus debut, the Phase 4 movie has been getting Marvel fans talking. Whether it's the cliffhanger ending or the surprise arrival of Harry Styles, Eternals teases numerous directions for the MCU's future, and that naturally leads to a lot of speculation about what comes next. We're still waiting for Eternals 2 to be confirmed, but one scene potentially teases that we'll see certain characters again very soon. The mid-credit scene teases the involvement of Eros, Styles, in the sequel, yet it's the post-credit scene with Dane Whitman, Kit Harington, that could have a more immediate impact on an upcoming project. If you need a refresher, the scene sees Dane investigating the Ebony Blade, which comic fans will know eventually leads to his Black Knight transformation. Before he can touch it though, an off-screen voice asks him, "Sure you're ready for that, Mr. Whitman?" Following the release of Eternals in November, director Chloe Zhao confirmed that the voice was none other than Mahershala Ali in his MCU debut, of sorts, as Blade. This is an adjustment to Dane's comic book origins where he only met Blade after he became the Black Knight, but it does tease an intriguing team-up. In the comics, both the Black Knight and Blade are members of fictional spy agency MI13, effectively the British version of S.H.I.E.L.D. aimed at dealing with weird shit happening in the country. This included a comic book run called Captain Britain and MI13 which saw the agency battle Skrulls following the events of Secret Invasion. Blade only joined the team in issue 5 after they had defeated the Skrulls, but it did see him work with the Black Knight to fight other threats, including Dracula. We know that Secret Invasion is getting its own TV adaptation, set to come to Disney Plus in late 2022. The series will bring back Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury and Ben Mendelsohn's Talos, among others, to battle Skrulls that have secretly infiltrated Earth. It's not a stretch to say the events of the series could lead to the MCU's version of MI13, even if it's unlikely that an MCU version of MI13 would faithfully follow the events of the Captain Britain and MI13 run. Even by Marvel standards, it's pretty out there and there's just too many characters to introduce. However, the idea that Secret Invasion could cross over with MI13 isn't as outlandish as you might think. Marvel fans have long thought that the MCU was setting up the arrival of MI13 in Phase 4. In Avengers Endgame, we saw Peggy Carter, Hayley Atwell, mention Braddock, a nod to Brian or James Braddock, who was Captain Britain in the comics. There's even an extra crossover with Captain Britain and MI13 as that series brought back Merlin, who was the one to gift Captain Britain with his extraordinary powers. Even if the MCU didn't want to introduce this version of Captain Britain, What If? Also saw Peggy Carter take on a Captain Britain-esque role in a different universe. She was never called that by name, but fans would easily accept this alternate Peggy becoming Captain Britain. Spider-Man: Far From Home also had a nod to MI13 as it saw Nick Fury and Maria Hill, Kobe Smulders, hanging out in the Shard. After the Captain Britain and MI13 run, the secret agency eventually moved their headquarters to the Shard in the comics. Add in the Eternals post-credit scene that teases the arrival of Black Knight and Blade, and it's no wonder fans think MI13 is on the way. Will it be the, potentially, game-changing events of Secret Invasion that lead to its formation in the MCU? It's not completely out of the realm of possibility. There's likely a reason the MCU has altered the Black Knight's origin and given the interconnected nature of Phase 4, all things do currently point to MI13. Scream creator reveals very different original plans for Scream 5. Scream, as a franchise, has taken many twists and turns along its journey. Ideas have been chopped and dropped more frequently than teenagers in Woodsboro. It's been widely reported that Stu was planned to come back in the third film, and we also know that Dewey was meant to die in the original movie. However, now we've learned what series creator and writer Kevin Williamson would have done with the fifth entry, had he written it. Speaking on Bloody Disgusting's Horror Quiz podcast, Williamson revealed that his plans for a fifth Scream film would have hinged on Emma Roberts' Scream 4 villain Jill still being alive. She was killed right at the end. Explaining his proposed plot, Williamson said, "Jill went to college, and then murders started on the campus. And it was a killer who knew she was the killer from the last film. So the killer kept trying to expose her, so she would have to kill to keep it covered up. So it was killer meets killer. And Sydney was a professor at that school. It's certainly an interesting idea, although it might be a bit too ridiculous to bring Jill back to life. If it did happen, however, we'd need Roberts to recreate her surprise bitch. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me moment from American Horror Story, Coven." Obviously the fifth film went in a different direction under new writers, and we won't spoil it here. But if you want to dive deep into why one of the film's biggest and most shocking moments had to happen, you can do that right here. Okay, stay tuned to our channel. I'll be providing you with up-to-date reliable movie news. Enjoy!